Hello there, this is my garage, and inside my garage I like to keep my lawnmower, and as you can see I have a nice swinging door and it is a Edwardian style panel door. Trouble is, it was an absolute pain to hang this door. If you know anything about these doors you'll understand. So I made this in a previous video and now I'm going to hang it. The door's looking good, she's all painted on the other side. The problem is she's upside down, so I gotta flip it by myself. It's gonna be interesting. Let's try it this way. Oh. Problem you may see is that some scumbag birds pooed on it. Let's lift her up. Oh, swing her around. Ooh. Now there's 100 different ways to hang a door. You can do hinges on top, hinges on the outside, hinges on the inside, hinges on the bottom, a railing on top, a railing on the bottom, a hinge point in the middle, a hinge point off to one side, or what I'm doing, that's a hinge point right about here. As my hinge point, I'm going to be using some gate latches, which are a bit strange, but all you need is any pivot point, so you can use any kind of bar. But the reason I want to use gate hinge latches is because they're retractable, so I can hold it into place, put on the latch, and ta-da, got a pivot point, easy. Now any kind of pivoting mechanism always has two components. You always have one component which connects to another, and in this case normally the bar just goes into a hole in the wood, but there's going to be the entire weight of the door on this here bar. So I've made some wee plates. These are going to go in the post and then it'll lock in like that, and so it'll be metal on metal and it won't wear as quickly. Now in the case of the first one, I'm just going to mount it right on the edge here, and I have to try and multitask because two hands. Anyway, she goes somewhere about, let's say there. All these can move it, need to be. And there's a screw. And then she goes. Now with this bar fixed, it's a determined length from the center of the bar to the top of the door. So I can measure that, and it is about we'll give her 6.5 inches to be generous. I'm now at the receiving end of my gate latch thingy, so if I measure my 6.5 inches, it comes to about there. Now I want the door to sit in a bit, because if I sit it right on here, water will run down and run onto the door, so I want it to sit in to protect it a little bit. So if we put her about there maybe. Now I know this is 6.5 inches, but I want to check that when it rotates back, it doesn't hit the wall. So that needs to be at least about probably 7 for good clearance. And yep, where that is, that's reading 8 inches. So when the door is sitting upright like this, and it pivots round, it's not going to hit anything. Excellent. The latch is now up here, because the door is already very small, and the lower the pivot point is, the lower the door opens. So I wanted an extra few inches of height because I already banged my head. So I'm measuring down 3 inch, which is about, well, it's not about, it's right there. And if I want to measure it in about 4 inch, I'll give me an inch reveal. And there's my drill point. And if I go across, 7 is most definitely more than 3. I can crack on, drill out my hole, which is right there. Forgot these drill bits suck. Get a new one. Much better. Because bigger is nearly almost always pretty much better. Always forget, these cut like butter. Now that my holes are drilled, I can get my plates on. So let's put her right about there and through. I have done an oopsie. The door is too wide. I measured the bottom at 1734 and I made the door to be 1730 millimeters, that is of course, but that only left 4 millimeters and the door has obviously not been 1730. There's like 2 millimeters where it just doesn't fit, and I can't come any more over this way because she's rubbing. So I'm going to try and take some off there with a circular saw, and over there take off a wee bit, and she might just slide in. But so door doesn't fit. 2 options: make the posts wider or make the door smaller. I'm going to go with making the door smaller because it's easier. So I trimmed it, and as you can see, it is not looking good. I need to retrim it again. Done the same on this side. Took off a very thin sliver, only like a centimetre at that end and nothing at this end. And it will fit this time, but usually what happens is you do wee bit, big bit, and then the time you do the big bit, you've got a massive gap. So trying to take it slow. In the same way, the bottom's a wee bit long. There we go. The door is finished. So there we go. The gaps are looking good. You can't see them mostly because of the reveal. And on the top here, I did a wee bar, and then while I was at it, gave the whole thing like a paint, so it all looks new. And it's rock solid, and for safety reasons, you can't actually, well, you could technically open it from the front here, but it's not supposed to. But anyway, it's the door, it works. Thank you very much for watching. You can subscribe right here somewhere and do whatever. I'm going to cut the grass.